I'll hand back to Emily.
Thank you so much, Tom, for another inspiring presentation. So we now have a few minutes for a Q&A, and you'll understand that we're not able to answer questions about individual cases in this forum. There's understandably been a lot of interest, so we may need to focus on the questions that have been rated most highly. Starting with a question on the links to our ripple effect resources and whether organisations can use the video in their internal training. So the link for all of this material is at ico.org.uk/ripple, and the video is on there too. You're more than welcome to use the resources, however is helpful to you. We've also had a question and asked to share the NHS England information governance information, which Rachel is very happy to do, so we'll take away how we do that in practice. So turning now to questions of the panel, let me start by asking this to Kat. So how do we know when we've taken all reasonable actions for a vulnerable individual who has experienced a data breach? We want to take all actions possible, but realise some of this is outside of our expertise and customer service operational limits. Thanks, Kat.
Thank you, Emily, and thank you to the person who's asked that question. And I think there's no simple answer to that, really, because I think the person has quite rightfully picked out that people's lives, these situations where a data breach may occur, are complicated, and there's quite often more than one thing going on at once that may stray outside of the data protection remit that you are responsible for. And I think that's really important, I suppose, to pick up the point that we touched on the presentation, that I'm not expecting others to be experts in every single aspect of a situation. And that's where building good relationships with other support organisations, so you can signpost or you can refer where you feel like it's starting to stray into territory that you are not well equipped to deal with. And also it's really important, to have, where you can, to have that open dialogue with the individual who has been affected as well. We didn't talk about in this presentation, but in last year's DPPC, we went into a lot of detail about understanding motivations and personas of individuals. And if you're able to have that conversation with somebody following that breach event about what steps perhaps they would like to see to seek resolution, to feel content that a matter had been dealt with, that can help you get to that point of resolution quicker, or it can help you get to that point of understanding what services or options they do need, which might fall outside of your remit, of your bucket. But that's why, so we developed, through the research, we noted and then developed sort of main motivations for people wanting to make complaints, wanting to take things forward, and issues such as affirmation came up quite regularly. So people wanting to feel as if their experience had been understood, had been recognised and understood. And then also other issues such as so affirmation, and then justice, a sense of justice. So feeling like an issue has been thoroughly looked at, has been thoroughly worked through, and sort of they're confident that things have been put in place for it to not happen again to other people. So I think that's don't feel as if you need to be able to provide all of these resolutions yourself. Think about who you're able to signpost and refer to when it is straying outside of your remit, and then also thinking about having that open human conversation with an individual about what they might need to move on. And that's not to say you'll always be able to provide it, but at least you will understand what an individual's looking for from a situation, and you can move on together from there.
Thanks a lot, Kat. So moving on to a question for Rachel. So with the changes in your communication wording, how has the revised selected wording from sorry for the inconvenience to sorry for the harm you've experienced in striking a balance between the protection of rights and doing right for the individual versus minimising liability exposure for the company or organisation that might mean legal action being taken, as wording can be suggestive or encouraging those to take action?
Yeah. So a bit of a background to this